Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 240 chainsaw. Customer complaint is that it's hard starting. Well, a quick look in the fuel tank. Looks like fresh fuel. Doesn't smell bad. We're going to look under the hood here and maybe pull the spark plug out. See if the cylinder is clean. Well, before we get to the spark plug, look at that air filter. Do you think maybe that has something to do with it? Now, granted, I don't think the customer ever pulled the cover off of here. Otherwise, he probably would have just bought an air filter, slapped it on there, and been on his way. I'll take a quick picture of it in case he questions what I found. You know, probably 99% of the time I don't need those pictures that I take. But it's there if I need it. So the cylinder looked clean and shiny, and you see I threaded the old plug back in there. Taking a look at the exhaust, at the spark arrestor screen, I don't see that it's carboned up or anything. It's rich looking there, and why wouldn't it be? I mean, a dirty air filter like this is like having the choke on all the time. So there's just this metal ring that holds this filter in place. So what I want to do is, I want to see how hard it starts without that filter on there, but still with the old spark plug. Didn't prime up that great. So what did it take? 4 pulls to start it? It's not terrible. So now we're going to move forward with doing a regular tune-up on here. And get this thing out the door. So we got our new spark plug in. We're going to dump the fuel out and take a look at that filter. Slap a new fuel filter on it. Here's my fish hook. So check out this fuel line on here. It's the kind that's got the liner in it. I hate these fuel lines. The filter ends up pulling away from the outer sheath, and then the filter can kink over and pinch off the liner that's hanging out and restrict your fuel flow. So we're going to get rid of that fuel line and put a new one in. I want to get the handle off of here, so there's 3 screws. Take note that there's 1 short screw there. We're going to remove the throttle rod. And then, we got a little bit of a mess here. We'll clean that up. You notice I pulled the choke out just to keep any random debris from blowing into the carburetor. So you got 1 screw on the side of this back cover. It's either a Torx or a Phillips. I've seen both styles in here. Now that that cover's out of the way, we can access the nuts that hold the air filter box on. Those 2 nuts, and then there's 1 long locating screw. I don't remember what size Torx bit that is. Could be a T20 or a T15. So what we're trying to do is get this carburetor out of the way so we can replace these fuel lines. We'll blow some of the major debris off of it. Taking care not to get any into the engine. Get this old fuel line out of here. You see I brought a couple of different sizes of fuel line. That's because I don't know off the top of my head what size line it needs. I just go in the parts room and grab a couple sizes I think are close, and whatever piece I don't use is going to just get set on the bench and used on the next project. So this first line, it's too big of an inside diameter. That second one looks like it's going to work pretty good. I still have no idea what size it is. We just sell it by the foot. So I cut the end of the line on an angle so I could push it down through the tank. Now I'll reach through the opening of the tank and grab that line and pull it through. Then we'll flush cut the end of the line and put our new fuel filter on it. Now I want the fuel filter laying on the bottom of the tank, but I want to pick up the slack in the fuel line, leaving enough slack so that a person can fish that filter out of there and service it. We're just going to cut this line to rough length because I need some more of the end of that line for my other line that I'm going to replace here. This is the line that goes from the purge bulb to the carburetor. It pulls fuel through the carburetor. And we'll just duplicate it. I could have replaced the return line from the purge bulb to the tank, but that line seems to be made out of a different type of material, and it is holding up quite well. I'm not even going to touch it. So we have both the lines on the purge bulb now. We're going to just cut this main fuel line to length and then attach that to the carburetor. Doing a lot of fumbling around here, dude. There we go. You know, pay attention to these lines so you don't end up assembling this and pinching one off or kinking one. Lay the choke lever underneath the stop switch and then push the air filter holder into place. So we had the two nuts that need an 8mm socket, and then the one screw that needs a T15 maybe. Get her nice and snug. Now's a good time to put the air filter on because we have easy access to it. And if you've never done this before, it allows you to see where that tang on the bottom of the metal holder sits. You put that tang down into the bottom of the air filter box, and then the single screw goes in. Don't forget to put this cover on here. If you miss this step and go right to the handle, you're not going to be able to get this cover back on. You'll have to pull the handle back off. So there's a slot on one end that the cover sits in, and then that screw on the other end. This guy's taking his time here. What the heck? Alright, now we're going to put the handle on, but before we do, we're going to tighten this up because it's a two-piece handle. Every one of them I've taken apart. These screws have been loose here. So I always snug them up. And one of them is a T25 maybe. And the other one's a 7mm nut. We'll snug them up before we put this together. First thing we do is put the throttle rod into the trigger lever. Just like that. Now you got 3 screws. 2 long ones and a short one. This is a long one. Yeah. This is a short one. If you put the long one in this spot, there's a fair chance that the screw's gonna poke through and hit the bottom of the fuel tank. You don't want that. So there we go. New fuel lines, new air filter, fresh go-go juice. That's all I got for you on the Husqvarna 240 chainsaw fuel line replacement. Thanks for watching. Later.